Hello and welcome back to Small Bites. I am so excited that my mic is working once again, and I'm super glad that you're joining me here for Small Bites. Thank you for coming back each week, for liking, for subscribing, and mostly for deciding that this is a place you can come to learn and a place you can come to be a better practitioner, whether you are in education, which we're kind of designed for, or whether you are in the corporate world and you are learning about all aspects of diversity in whatever community you're building. So thank you again for coming back. Please listen here, comment, hit that like button, that subscribe button. And I'd also like to invite you to listen to me over on Anchor/Hedrick, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those places. Please go ahead and listen, especially for this particular series on critical race theory. The last two podcasts have dealt with it, as well as last week's Small Bites. So I want to dive right in so that I won't be very long. This week, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about critical race theory and Marxism. Marxism! Oh my God, Marxism! Oh my God, the commies! If you are a Gen Xer, then you grew up thinking that the red commies were the absolute seed of evil. And that is, I'll say it this, as Sting said, I bet the Russians love their children too, if I may borrow that line. I remember when I heard that, it made me begin to question, because is any group ever just one thing? And the way we arrive at our successes is often very different. Now, we can look at pure communism and pure capitalism. Neither system has actually ever been tested, because there is no pure communism and capitalism in view. For example, bank buyouts are not pure capitalism. When we bail out big businesses, that's no longer pure capitalism. So there's going to be a mix. Today, I really just want to kind of explain to you what the heck is Marxism? I've got some great resources on hedrick.com, but basically Karl Marx, writing with Friedrich Engels, developed a theory of social and economic principles. Basically, he criticized the capitalist form of government in the mid-1800s, and he believed that workers under the capitalist system basically sold their labor and then didn't profit. So we work, and the people who have capital to own businesses for whom we work are the ones who actually profit. Now, out of Marxism actually came unions. And if you're in a state that is unionized, then you already know how valuable it can be to have a group who negotiates for workers' rights. All of that's kind of Marxism. Now, there's some other yucky stuff that you can go ahead and deal with it. But as a system itself, there are some things that really work. And again, labor power or owning your own labor, co-ops, for example, all of those come out of Karl Marx and his theories. There's a super awesome video at hedrick.com. I'll tell you about it in just a little bit. You're gonna want to go and watch that, because they do a great job of pulling out the great points of capitalism, von Mises versus Karl Marx. And you get to see these two battling ideologies, and how neither, honestly, I couldn't figure out which one. If I was just listening to them argue, I couldn't have picked one. So as I say in my blog, I am not ready to move to Cuba, even if I get like a 55, roll it back, New Yorker convertible. I'm not willing to give up free market for that. However, I would love to be in a unionized state. I think that teachers have had good advocacy this year, especially during the pandemic. So you'll make your own judgment. But what I want you to do is basically look at communism. And how many of us really remember what we learned in sociology and econ back in high school and college? I was kind of... So go back and read about the theories, just so that you can really compare apples and oranges. I love green. Green is the greatest color, and I will never wear anything other than green. Maybe, maybe not. Once you've looked at blue or purple or red, you still might say, oh, for sure, green is my favorite color. But you also might be open to some shades of blue that, like turquoise, which is a kind of greenish blue. So just do your research. And having said that, I will tell you where you can go on hedrick.com and what you'll find there. When you get 20 or 30 minutes, I want you, once again, review the stuff you slept through in econ with this Lumen course, and just approach the information with a clear mind and decide, if you could choose, whether you would still choose capitalism based solely on the description of its merits. If you got 15 to 20 minutes, there's a link there that's very helpful for people who are thinking that really it's a socioeconomic card and not a race card. There's a great pamphlet there that you can share with your classes. For example, even today, enslavement and forced labor might be responsible for fast fashion and those cheap jeans you're wearing. All right, if you've got 10 to 15 minutes, watch this epic von Mises versus Marx rap battle. Oh my God, it's an amazing, incredible way to really explore the differences in ideologies, and mostly just to find out how probably not educated we are on either. Honestly, if you can decide which is better by listening to the arguments, let me know, because it seems to me there were fine points on both sides. All right, if you've got 5 to 10 minutes, I hope that you will figure out why people are crying, Marxism, Marxism, with this History.com article on Karl Marx, who he was, who he became, and how he became our big enemy. Watch the video that's there as well, and spoiler alert, it all started with him spurring workers on to organize for fair wages and conditions, and even advocating that the working class be the ruling class, since they were doing all the work anyway. Finally, if you got 0 to 5 minutes, read last week's blog and choose to include everyone's stories in your teaching. You know that I can talk about Marxism and the ideologies of critical race theories and the systems and the things that came out of the legal sector to give us CRT. But at the final point, it's about including the stories of every one of your students and making sure that they are represented. So read last week's blog, watch last week's Small Bites, and choose to include everyone's stories in your teachings. You may not embrace every aspect of CRT. How many of us really embrace every aspect of some ideology? But you can't reject the part that advocates for maintaining a worldview that embraces diverse historical perspectives and make sure that your kids learn about all of the wonderful truths that make up the tapestry that makes up this great nation. All right, that has been it for us. That has been it for Small Bites. Thank you, Anna. You all say such kind things in the chat. I really appreciate it. I hope you will like, subscribe if you haven't, and share Small Bites with your friends. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feedback. Follow me on Twitter. And how do you eat an elephant? One small bite at a time. See you next week right here on YouTube for Small Bites. Thank you, and have a great evening and a great weekend. Thank you, Donna.